How is everybody doing this afternoon? We have got some people I can see in the room as well, which is great. Who have we got in? John, I can see you there, buddy. How you doing? Sweet, I can see you. Shukri, how you doing, mates? Come down to planet Earth just for the session, which we appreciate. Let's just make sure that we are on YouTube as well. There we go. Hold on one second. Just want to make sure I can see the chat room in. Yeah, and it is a sleepy afternoon as well. You're absolutely right. Right, sweet. I mean, there is market movements. I'm just not really willing to put my money in as yet. You see the price action yesterday. We talked about a trade yesterday, but the price action all of a sudden just started to turn pretty ugly. So it's stopped being of interest. That was on the Nasdaq yesterday. Popped up. Where were we? This is the trade, wasn't it? That was the trade there, and it came down. That would have been the entry after that bar. But as this starts to come down, and I'll show you on a shorter term time frame, you've got to make judgment calls on these as things change with a price action. So as this started to come down and look like it was in a downtrend, it depends if you were in front of your charts, of course. But if you weren't in front of your charts, you should have made money out of this trade anyway. You should be still in it and making money out of it. But yeah, as this one starts to come down, the best entry is when you get that higher low there. Sorry, the higher high and then the higher low gives us the proper entry. And the Nasdaq has done pretty well so far today. So there have been trades, and as I say, anybody that traded that Nasdaq trade yesterday obviously would have made money and is still probably making money out of that. We are getting fairly close to a potential turnaround with the Nasdaq. Now there is this is the ultimate target up here, but it might just fail to get there. Let's just have a look at what we got. Now we got that level there, but I don't love it. Let me just check to see what this trend line is doing. That might be where we are on top of. So if you did manage to get the trade, then you should be a decent 2.5 to 1 in positive territory now. So well worth moving those stops and probably starting to edge out of it. But I'll leave that to everybody else to see what they want to do. That's the sweet spot. I have to say, I'm starting to lose a bit of faith in Nasdaq selling. I think there could be some downside, but I'm not so keen on it as the best possible option. Now, I really like Bitcoin for a sell, and it's my favorite of everything that I've looked at. It's the one that I like the most for a sell-off. Now, we do have obviously our crypto specialist in the room and in the house, and he will be talking us through, maybe the way that we should be looking at Bitcoin in this current climate and the current phase, and what we can start using to what we can start using to try and think about barometers and how we can make a decent judgment call on that. Just got some news flashing in the background, so I'm just checking that out. Ocado shares soaring to the upside after a over 50% rise in revenue and profits, which is quite incredible. And they've just done a deal with Marks and Spencer, which is also pretty good news for them. What can we check out here? Let's have a look at TradingView. Here we go. Now I'm going to make you a host in a second, Shukri. Just see if you have got anything specific that you want to look at. But let's just quickly check around the grounds and see why selling off the market at this particular stage looks like a bad idea. The VIX at this particular stage has given us a higher high, and it's looking like it could stop down here for a higher low, but it hasn't really given us that particular signal as yet. So selling off a market at this particular stage doesn't look like a decent play and a good idea. This is the is that the same as I just had? Yeah, this should be the right one. This is the volatility index for the Nasdaq, which again is sinking to the downside, but it might start to find some support around about the 23 level. So I'm looking out to see whether that's going to be the case. And at this particular stage, I'd be quite surprised if I'd be pretty surprised if we get anything but positive price action for the rest of the day, and that means that there could be a grab for that area that we've discussed before, possibly even the monthly pivot. But this is the one I like, and I'm just looking for a way in really with Bitcoin, and I want to be a seller. Is it there yet? It's getting pretty close. Now I'm going to start considering it around about 11,000 for a selling opportunity. So it's got a little while to go as yet, but it could happen. I don't think it's going to happen today. That's the one aspect of it. I'll check out some other cryptos as well that I look at and trade, but Shukri will take you through a much more extensive list. But it looks to me like the 11,003, 11,4, something like that would be the sweet spot for this one, and that's the area that I will be stacking a bit more with a bit more confidence into Bitcoin. For some downside, but at this stage, I'll be looking for signs and signals, I should say. Really, I'm not just going to sell it at that particular price, because I might be wrong and it might continue to the upside, and that's why we use charting. This is one that's on my watch list for some downside. I really like the push to the upside, and it's exactly what we need if we're going to be shorting this market. But at this stage, it's just not an opportunity that I like just yet. Now, when it comes down to some of the others, I'm not so keen. I mean, maybe the euro could be of interest, and I need to do some work on the CAD as well. And considering what could be going on with oil, maybe the CAD might be potentially a decent opportunity. But look at what's going on with the DXY. So while the dollar is continuing to weaken over the course of today and yesterday, and to a degree the previous day, it's not a great surprise that we are seeing a push to the upside with equities. The FTSE 100 is but really from what I can see, let me just double check. Yeah, the FTSE 100 is an outperformer. Yeah, the FTSE 100 is an outperformer. So quite like that for a bit more of a push to the upside. I'm just going to double check when I'm right on that. Yes, I am. A bit more of a push to the upside. So I will consider Bitcoin, and I would definitely consider this pound as well. It hasn't quite managed to kind of grab that upside, but that upside potential target, and you can see why. There's a trend line that comes right down here. And that trend line runs right into the weekly pivot. So no major surprise to see this one selling off in this particular area here. And as I say, that's likely to continue to push the FTSE 100 higher. Some decent buy signals actually on the FTSE. Not too bad at all. I'm just a bit concerned about trading anything long at this particular juncture because of what might transpire with the Fed. But it does look like it's got potentially another 1% gain to the upside wouldn't be at all surprising for the FTSE 100. So looking at potentially Bitcoin for a short eventually. I am looking for a possible play in the Nasdaq, but it's a bit speculative, that one, and a possible play in the pound and the euro as well. But we are going to be talking about cryptos mainly in the course of the next hour in the US session. So let me just give Shukri some powers here. Let's promote you there. And when you're there, oops.
Okay, guys, am I in? Am I in?
You are in, mate. How's things?
Good. So I think the crypto markets have recovered. The big coins have recovered, not the small coins. Okay, not the alts. The big coins, yeah, so I include Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the smaller ones are still bleeding. And so, see, crypto is a weird thing. So you got to understand that the big coins will move first. It's of course led by our good friend Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin corrects, then you see the smaller coins move. So let me take the power from you. Let me show you what these Bitcoin boys are doing.
Yeah, I mean, don't wait. Don't waste all your information here. If you if you got plenty to talk about in the next hour, that's absolutely fine, mate. I mean, it's, just give us a review of where you're at. I've seen obviously he's coming up. But
join the US show, guys. So anyway, you have to look this as a matter of perspective. So I view Bitcoin very differently. In fact,
I've got one question, mate.
Yeah,
I've got one question. You sound to me like you are talking as if Bitcoin is going to the moon again. Now, does that mean you are on the other side of the fence to me, or are you just looking for a bit of retracement here?
Preparing for being on the other side.
Okay,
all right. I still believe that it is a short because we have massive resistance, to be exact, the level, and I'll show you during the US show how to get this information. The level is 11,288.
Okay, I like that.
That's why there's a lot of people. But you have to see that I view Bitcoin as something different, not naturally something like Euro USD or GBP USD. See, to me, Bitcoin is an instrument. In fact, if I were to be ready to buy Bitcoin again, I have to wait for it to retrace, obviously. And once I'm convinced that it's retraced and ready to go to the moon, I will take my chance. But guess what? And here's the other twist that I'm going to throw you. Okay, guys. So listen very carefully. So that's why I'm going to follow my train and all that. I wouldn't buy Bitcoin. Actually, you know what I would buy? I would buy WBTC.
WBTC.
Now you're confused, right? What is that? Well, that is wrapped Bitcoin.
Is it what?
Just wrapped Bitcoin.
Wrapped. Okay.
Yeah, WRAPPED. Now you're going to say, what in the world is that? Well, this is the deal. If I'm going to ride Bitcoin to the moon, which I plan to, but not now, not now. I don't think the time is yet because, we have Powell, we have the US elections, but anytime after that, I'll be ready to go. If you buy wrapped Bitcoin, then you know what? You can put it in a DeFi pool. Okay. And I can earn some interest while I'm waiting. That's how that's how I would trade Bitcoin. So you see, guys, crypto requires another. You have to think of it like it's like an ecosystem. It's more like stocks, Ash.
I understand that, mate. So I've got a question for you. So and then just give us a quick review of what we'll be covering in the next hour. So my question is this: if we become really proficient, because a lot of people probably will feel quite overwhelmed with the amount of information that you provide, which is extensive and thorough. But if we are a little bit apprehensive and feel a little bit confused by some of the things that some of the advanced techniques that you follow, if we get good at reading the Bitcoin chart, let's say we get really good 70% of the time, we're right on the direction of Bitcoin. Does that put us in a decent enough position to then just slide in all those other little bits and pieces that you're talking about to make decent money?
Yes, and that's what I'm going to show you today in my good question. That's what I'm going to show you today in my trading journal, because I have 3.
Okay.
Not 1, not 2, but 3. One is for trades.
Yep.
One is for multiplying cryptos, and the other one is for pools. So they're 3 different things all together.
Okay, that sounds like heavy work, mate.
And when you it is. And when you talk about trading Bitcoin, again, I'm not even. If I were to trade Bitcoin like you did, I wouldn't even buy the real Bitcoin. I buy the futures because you can also short.
Yep. Yeah. So am I writing? So how many hours a day do you think you put into your research, and how long does it take you?
About 3 or 4 hours a day, because it's a lot of research on the smaller cryptos.
Yeah.
And of course, before I enter the market, I always have to look at Bitcoin. So it's really a lot of people doing a lot of parallel things.
Yeah.
Because just imagine that this is a new world that is entirely emerging. Okay, let's say this. This is a new world that's entirely emerging now. The good thing, it can be good and bad, okay? But I think it is very good. One fine day, who's going to be the Facebook of the crypto world? Who's going to be the JP Morgan of the crypto world? Who's going to be the Citibank? Who's going to be the Amazon? That, to a certain extent, has not been decided yet.
Imagine. No, and I suspect, is it much more likely to be a central bank?
We don't know. And okay. see, when we don't know, that's what keeps people excited, because that is what keeps the speculation going. Right? For example, you have Tesla, which is an electric car. Same thing here. You have things that are so new that people are willing to speculate on them. People are willing to try the new business model. And I think you see this, how do you say it? You see this irrational exuberance now in the NASDAQ. But I think a better period, if you want to know what's going on the cryptos now, just figure out what was going on the NASDAQ in the late 1990s, when everything that was a .com, I mean, you could have pets.com, you could have Brighton.com, and it would go to the moon, and nobody would know why.
I don't know if Brighton would go to the moon.
Yeah, although they lost last night. Although they lost. It doesn't matter.
Well,
it doesn't matter. I mean, Chelsea would go up 10 times and Brighton would still go up 3 times because they have a .com.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I think Chelsea are definite challenges this year, so it's not too much of a disgrace to lose to Chelsea.
Correct.
So if I want to trade this Bitcoin short,
yeah.
But I don't really want to go short on anything. What I want to do is buy something instead, because then maybe I'll get some kickback.
Yeah.
Could I use Bitcoin as a short, because I'm analyzing it as a short? So maybe would that draw me somewhere else? Maybe I could get drawn into a different coin that is likely to go up when Bitcoin goes down. Is that possible?
Yeah, that's possible, because what I do is when I trade Ethereum, for example, right? I don't try to time Ethereum, because it's hard. So I wait for Ethereum to go up, and then I just buy Ethereum Classic, because Ethereum came from Ethereum Classic.
But if Bitcoin comes down, Ethereum will follow. Is that right?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
You know why? Because there's so much demand for Ethereum on this DeFi thing, and I think we saw a message last night, right? That Ethereum is going to go. They expect the DeFi market is going to grow 100 times, and that's big. And I think I'd be a very happy camper at even 10 times. No, I'd be very happy at even 3 times. I think it's way too big. Now, this is a market that grew from 1 billion in June to 9 billion recently, before it fell down to 6 billion, and now it's 7. So I can't even imagine what it will be like. And tomorrow, when we see the pools, then you will understand why people are going insane about this. Just totally insane.
Okay, this is sounding really, really fascinating to me, mate. Because I am a bit of a fan of Ethereum, and I'm just waiting for a price to get in. But I was actually looking for some drawback in both of them, and then getting into Ethereum later down the line. But anyway,
but Ethereum also has its disadvantages for those before Ash goes, and before we go to the US show, before Ash continues. Now, Ethereum what keeps people excited and speculating? I was just on an Ethereum transaction just now. Ethereum costs a lot in gas fees just to transfer tokens through the network.
Right.
And it's frustrating. And
isn't that where ADA wins a little bit?
Yes, that's where ADA and others win. So when they win, guess what will happen to them? It's just that, because ADA can't come up because who is Jeff sacked Charles, right? So we got to get Jeff to, hey, can you hire Charles back?
He's still there though, isn't he, Charles?
Yeah, he's still there. And I still haven't heard anything. So guys, just now it was like I wasted and this is a true case. I'm not happy. I wasted like $90 US dollars trying to transfer some tokens. It didn't work, but it's okay. The guy on the other side said that they would refund me. I'm not happy. That makes me very angry at Ethereum. Ethereum 2.0 seems to be very slow. So they've been talking about an Ethereum 1.5, doesn't matter. As long as this problem persists, the token or the company that can resolve this problem is going to go to the moon. Find that token.
Okay. So there will be a company that resolves the problem, but they will still use the Ethereum framework.
Yes.
Okay, so Ethereum will still be a benefactor of that.
Of course, because Ethereum 2.0 is going to come out, and this will solve all this. You call it the gas fees problem.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. When I see that, I want to cry.
Yeah.
Compared to other blockchains where it costs like, how many cents was that? Like what was that? 7 cents, 14 cents. This is like in dollars.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can understand the tears. try and hold them back.
And it doesn't go through. And then you increase the gas fee, and it doesn't go through again. And so what do I do next? I come early on the show and just wait for Ash to turn the show on. Okay.
Okay, so what we got coming up in the next hour, we're going to look at, mate.
Okay, so we're going to look at Bitcoin again. We're going to see where the resistance are, and you'll see where these guys are, where it needs to clear, and then we're going to see my trading journal, and then you're going to see the types of trades, and then hopefully we will see the good and the bad.
Okay, I've got one more question before we start to make the transition. We've got a few minutes left. Is there any data on any of these cryptocurrencies that provide open interest, so we can see, a bit like COT data? Is there any way that we can actually mine in to see what the open interest is on some of these currencies?
I think you have access to my computer. I'm going to show you that. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, now we're in good. Now you're talking my language.
You have hacked into my computer.
I mean, this is the thing. You said you said you were from another planet. My planet's slightly above yours, so I'm looking right down onto your computer the whole time.
So we're going to see the tool that I use to get these things pretty much accurate. And I'm very happy with it. I'm going to show you how I use that tool to pick certain coins, and it's based on data. So you know me, like I just like data to support it. It's not always 100% correct, but as you said, it gives me the conviction to go in when I want to go in.
Yeah, I'm a data man myself, mate. I'm a fundamentalist really now at heart. I wasn't when I started, but that's definitely the way that I trade these days. I'm much more into the fundamentals of what and when will the market move, and then using charting for my timing. So you are a man after my own heart, and I'm much to kind of go and do a bit of work behind the scenes and do my data mining, and then figure out what I want to do, which is what's leading me to the Bitcoin short. To be fair, it's not anything to do with charts. It's purely down to the data that I've analyzed.
And you know what? We're going to see that also. Let's see what the machine learning says about Bitcoin tonight.
The machine learning, what's this?
Yeah, because it takes all the data from Bitcoin and then it has the prediction.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to this session.
So guys, on the show, this is how we trade. We don't look at the machine learning first. We look at data first. And then we have what do you say? We have a theory or whatever. We have a belief, and then we check the machine learning. And if everything is aligned, then be my guest and go in and just protect yourself. If it's not, then go back and rethink.
John, yes. Do you know what? Don't worry about it being fast, because the alternative is that we dumb things down so much that you don't understand that there's more out there, but don't worry about it being fast, because it was a bit like this for me when the guy that taught me to trade, he was talking about things that I just didn't understand, and it took me years for it to filter in. But when it did filter in, it completely changed my perspective, and he didn't have to actually sort of like slow right down to a snail's pace, and I'm glad he didn't. So this would expose you to know that that there is more out there, that there's more work that needs to be done. It's not just about charts.
And one reason, Ash, good. Why are we doing this? As I explained in my show yesterday, I said I'm taking the most advanced first, right? Then I'm going down.
Yeah.
You know why? Because this DeFi is too hot, guys. Guys and gals. It's Helen here. There's going to be a lot of scams on this. There is just going to be an unbelievable number of scams. And they're going to use DeFi. And you guys have to be ready at that time to separate the truth from the lies. And they're going to be outright lies there. So be careful. So, this is why we have to go into this first, because if we go into the beginners, you say, hey, but I want to go DeFi. Okay, if you do not understand this, you might get caught really, really bad.
And I think also on that as well, I think the oh, my train of thought's just gone. Sorry, I was just. Do you know why? I was just sort of like thinking, right, we're getting pretty close to the start of the show.
Yeah.
Maybe we should flip out of it because I want to try and start at 2 o'clock because it's going to be an important session. I think I've got plenty of questions which are going to feed hopefully the information you're going to give, and we can have a look at that. So sorry, John is saying didn't become a saxophone. Yes, there you go, mate. You see. Never even looked at this, so it's great. Yeah, so exactly. I mean, as a musician, you understand the process, you know, and there were certain things I learned as a musician way before I understood them. But fortunately, I did learn them because if I went at a snail's pace, by the time I was ready to learn them, that person may not have been around to give me the information. So we will go at breakneck speed as always and get through it. But I want to maybe just cut out just 3 minutes early because I want to start on time for you. And obviously I've got a tune to play.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna do the tune. Thanks anybody that's popped in. I can't see anybody in the room actually. There's people in the room, but I can't. There's no message, so I'm not sure who's in the room, but anybody that is in, appreciate you turning up anyway. Don't expect you always to converse. It's not mandatory and not necessary, just like you being here. So thanks to you guys. I will see you in the morning with Chloe.
One more thing, Ash. One more thing to all the Malaysians. Happy Malaysia Day tomorrow.
Oh yeah, happy Malaysia Day. I'll still gonna remember that tomorrow as well. You got it off, have you?
Yeah. We it's a day off tomorrow, but I'll still be in the office.
Of course you will. Of course you will. Alan's there. Okay, Alan, you popping in the room? Are you in the room? I can't remember. Anybody that is in the room on YouTube, you can hop over to the US session just by emailing contact to Actions to Wealth, and they will give you access. And it's not an expensive. Not an expensive session to buy into, and it's full of information. So come and join us if you so choose. You can always cancel it after the first month if you don't like it, or you can let it roll over. It's entirely up to you. But it's for a very, very small fee. You are going to learn some great information. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'll see you in the morning with Chloe, and then obviously in the afternoon I will see you with Orlando. But for right now, let's get to you, Shukri. I am going to just stop.